Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for coming back to my channel. First, I would like to thank you all for viewing my video on why single moms don't breastfeed. Thank you so much to the subscribers to my channel, and thank you all for the likes on the video. I really appreciate it. I'm a new channel, and I could use all the support I can get, all the knowledge that I can. So I just love you all for listening to what I have to say. So thank you again. Today I am bringing you an article about why American moms don't breastfeed. And it's about why they don't breastfeed for a long time. Like if they initiate the breastfeeding process, then most times they don't continue for the recommended amount of time. So that's what I'm bringing you today. And I'm going to give a little bit of my perspective on this. Um, and this is also just for informational purposes only. I want to be able to give us information we don't necessarily seek, but that is very important. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. I know I don't have the, the best voice in the world. So I really, really thank you all for being here with me and just being here to get the information. So this article comes from USA Today from 2017. And it says, here's why, I'm sorry, American moms don't breastfeed long. Here's why. Only about 1 in 5 US moms breastfeed for the amount of time recommended. And it goes on to say, while moms are breastfeeding, they aren't keeping it up. About 81% of moms across the nation reported breastfeeding at some point, CDC data shows, but that number drastically decreases to about 22% when looking at exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months, recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. Breastfeeding at 1 year is about 31% from US 13, I'm sorry, 2013 data. And the World Health Organization recommends breastfeeding for 2 years. Um, Breast milk has many proven benefits, including improved immunity, lower sudden risk of SIDS. Some studies even show breastfeeding improves a child's cognitive functioning, but that's up for debate. Still, many moms who hear breast is best have intentions of breastfeeding for a year or longer. Here are some reasons why they stop early. It's awkward, painful, and hard to know if baby is getting enough milk. Helping the baby latch properly is about as easy as grabbing a stuffed animal in a claw arcade game. Exhausted new moms learning how to hold a tiny, fragile human, having to grab their breast and bullseye a nipple into a small, crying mouth. Even if the baby takes a nipple, he might not have a good latch. There's no way to know how much he's drinking unless he's weighed. Now, I want to let you know that that's not true. That's not true. Babies are supposed to latch when they are first born. It's what happened in nature and it's what's natural. Babies are automatically going to do what's natural. Okay. They have to be trained to take a bottle. It doesn't come easy to every baby to take a bottle. So there are ways to know if your baby is not getting enough milk. If that baby is fussier than normal, outside of wanting to be changed, needing to be comforted, um, needing to eat, just wanting to be around their moms naturally, if they're fussier, then you'll know if they're not getting enough milk. They let you know. In the middle of feeding, if they're not getting enough milk, they'll stop. Um, they'll release their latch and they'll cry and want you to try again. So during that time, they start to eat more. So the more they're feeding and the less fussy they are, will let you know if they're getting the adequate amount of milk. They don't have to be weighed in order for you to know that. Um, Regina Marie Roic Romero, the chair of the board of directors, International Board of Lactation Consultants, said concerns about milk supply is the most common problem she hears about. Quote, in terms of milk supply, most healthy women are perfectly capable of making enough milk they need, even enough for twins. Dr. Andrew Bernstein, a spokesperson for the AAP, said many moms also don't understand the first days of latching can be painful. Okay, so that's something that you don't want to hear as a new mom. That something that's supposed to come natural for you and your baby will automatically be painful. They tap on the fear, right? It's the fear of the unknown because you can't practice putting a baby on your nipple to for the first time to see, to gauge its comfort, to gauge uh the process of the pain and how it will affect you. Like if you're going to create make a pancake and you mess it up, you could throw that out and start over. You can't do that with a baby. You can't wait until have a baby growing in your belly and then learn from another baby unless it's yours. But I'm talking about the first time strictly. So it's they tap on the unknown fear of they tap on the fear of the unknown, telling you that it's going to be painful because you don't know. And so then once it happens, you're going to automatically link that feeling to what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of has like this negative connotation behind it, that breastfeeding is linked to pain and you don't want to be in pain, so you shouldn't breastfeed. You see what I mean? Breastfeeding isn't easy, Bernstein said. Nursing can cause cracked nipples. Now, I will say this. The only reason, if your breasts are bleeding, the baby is latched wrong and you need to try again. You need to see what works. You have to stop forcing it to work and let it happen naturally. So, um, that's the only time, if there's a bad latch, your nipples are gonna crack because they have to grow and they have to the process of them being able to sustain feeding for such a long time. Your nipples actually do change. They do change. They don't feel the same. They're not as soft as they used to be. So they're gonna change. The more you feed, the more they're gonna change. But that's the only reason why you should ever experience having cracked or dry nipples, or bleeding nipples. If the baby is latched wrong, it's something that happens this naturally shouldn't be this hard, and yet it is, because of the fear that you have not knowing until it actually happens. You see what I'm saying? Women who don't seek support from a doctor or lactation consultant might not know that help is available and give up. And you should also consult a doula. Get a doula. because they can provide more of emotional support to you than a lactation consultant whose job is to literally consult you on lactation. So they basically just telling you what you need to do to get your milk supply in and keep it, to sustain the baby and getting the adequate amount of milk. But get a doula because they can be with you and you can get them to stay with you until you learn what to do, until you get yourself or like establish somewhat of a routine. You can get someone to help you if you're not surrounded by a bunch of women who can tell you what it's like to breastfeed, give you tips on everything like that. But get you a doula, look into a doula. Um, because it's not supposed to hurt and it's not supposed to take long because it's something that's supposed to happen naturally. Those needed resources often come at a cost, as private practice lactation consultants aren't always covered by insurance. The work pump grind. Most American moms return to work just a few weeks after giving birth, and the decision to continue breastfeeding usually means they will need to pump. Initially, they have to talk to their employer about breaking 3 to 4 times daily to go into a room, partially undressed, piece pump parts together, hook up to a machine, express milk, clean the pump, and head to a refrigerator to store the milk. Then go about their workday. Pumping can be intimidating and overwhelming. Not when you're at home. Not when you're at home. Because if you think about it, you have to do the same thing at home. But the difference is there's more expected of you. There's an expectation there. You have to get up and go back to work instead of get back up and making sure the children are fed and checking on them after they nap or, you know, um, teaching them or having them do activities or homework or something like that. You have to go and do something that is more strenuously expected of you instead of staying home with your kids. Because if you think about it, you do the same thing, right? You got to stop what you're doing. You got to put the pump pieces together. You got to pump. You got to clean up. You got to go to the refrigerator and put it in the refrigerator, right? So, what's the difference? There's more expectation of you. So now I have to make sure nobody touches my milk. I got to make sure it's cool in the refrigerator because most people don't know. It's people going in and out. People lunches in there. I don't know what type of food they eating or whatever. I labeled it breast milk, so don't nobody use my breast milk as regular milk. But I gotta constantly worry whether or not they gonna use it or they gonna throw it away or something gonna happen to it. You know what I'm saying? So why even go into all of that? Like, why even take the risk, run the risk of you having to lose that nutritious that natural milk that you just created in your body to give to your baby. Let me tell you something. They say don't cry over spilled milk. I done cried over breast milk. You not gonna play with me. Do you know how long it just took me to pump that milk? Do you know what I had to do to get this milk out of me? Do you know what I'm saying? The pain of swollen breasts because it has so much milk that I have to get this milk out of me. Do you know what I just went through? How much time that took? And if it's knocked over, yes, you gonna cry. Oh my God, yes. So why even run the risk? It take anywhere between 10 and 40 minutes to pump some milk. 10 and 40 minutes. And that's after you done set up the pump so that you can get the milk out. You can express that milk. 10 to 40 minutes. Let's just let's just say 30 minutes, right? It takes you 30 minutes to pump. And that's including putting everything together, putting everything back, getting back to your desk, right? It take you 30 minutes to pump, and let's say you pumping 4 times a day within your allotted shift. That's 2 hours gone. That's 2 hours gone. That's 2 hours you could have got a commission check. That's 2 hours you could have bagged another client, depending on what you do. You know what I'm saying? That's and you own a daycare. That's 2 hours gone from you getting people enrolled in. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like that's 2 hours gone. Then your lunch. So that's 3 hours I have to give you, but you don't have to go through all of this if you're at home. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to keep saying it, the best way to be successful at breastfeeding exclusively is to stay at home. Your baby feed more than 3 or 4 times a day, especially if they cluster feeding. Your baby feed way more than that. So what is expressing milk 3 or 4 times a day gonna do? It ain't like you can use it right away when you get home because you're gonna want to latch that baby to you. So, like, come on, y'all crazy. Okay. Laura Marie Gruber, a board certified lactation consultant, said that the time when working moms in America can go back to work can also be problematic. Quote, moms go back to work 6 to 12 weeks out of the hospital. Those are two crucial times. At 6 weeks, moms establish their supply. So you gonna go back to work as soon as you get your milk established, as soon as your routine start to kick in before it switch up from sleep regression. You just started and now you got to leave and go back to work. Why not put yourself in a position to stay home so that you can do what it is you need to do to make sure that your baby is allotted natural nutrients that they need to grow and sustain their lives rather than going back to work. Like, I don't, okay. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we push the bar? Why can't we just do what we know we need to do? We want to be traditional women and modern women. We want to be traditional and we want to be a career. If you want to be a traditional woman, that's fine. And if you want to be a career woman, that's fine too. But we as women expect everybody to find that ground, find that middle. Who are we? We ain't nobody for companies to be folded to because we decided that we wanted to become a mother and we don't want to sacrifice our careers for that. We didn't, you know what I'm saying? We who are we to demand that these companies bend to us because we decided that, you got to accommodate us because we just had a baby. We didn't even have your baby, but we want you to accommodate us. Who are we? Who are we? And so these companies don't have to do that. Now they gotta they not so not only are they losing money by hiring your replacement while you go on maternity leave, hire your replacement, depending on which sector you work in. And then if I pay you for maternity leave, then that's double. I'm losing money. Now you want me to take 3 hours, shave 3, 4 hours out the day so to accommodate you pumping your breast? What? Why go through all that? You could just stay at home. We do this. This is what we do. Infant formula wasn't created because women didn't know how to breastfeed. Women were losing babies because they didn't breastfeed. That's not why infant formula was created. So what you think we've been doing before? You know what I'm saying? What you think we've been doing before we had formula? It wasn't an option. You had to do it. No other way around it. So if moms don't have the support to work environment or support caregivers, it can be difficult for them to meet their breastfeeding goals. Support is key even for moms who don't work and simply need to get out of the house. While breastfeeding in public is legal in most states, societal stigma still discourages. Um, yeah, so getting out of the house and it's already strenuous. Staying at home, being a staying at home mom is not easy. It's not easy at all, and you have to find a balance between, you have to get an understanding between possibly not ever returning back to work at all. You have to accept this sacrifice was very necessary because I've become accustomed to a certain lifestyle that I live, but now I have to, focus on something, on someone that needs me 100%. And I can't give 100% if I'm at work. Employers covered by the Fair Labor Standards Act are required to provide breaks and provide a private pumping room, not a bathroom, for up to a year after birth. And we just talked about the time that takes. We just talk about the time they take. So where am I being replenished in my business for this? I didn't ask them to have kids. They said they wanted this. Last time I checked, they said they wanted to be equal. Last time I checked, you don't see me, you know what I'm saying, going off on 30, 45 minute breaks to do something or pump something or whatever. You don't see me doing that. So, why do they have to do that? Why do we have to accommodate them for that? Where am I being compensated? You see what I'm saying? Um, but as a Washington Post article points out, some women pump in conditions that are illegal, frankly demeaning. Not if you were at home. The U.S. does not have a paid family leave policy like other developed countries around the globe, which is also a breastfeeding roadblock. Access to paid maternity leave is shown to increase the duration of breastfeeding. Again, but why? That's not what work is for. That's not what work is for. You said you wanted this. I gave it to you. That's what I'm saying. Every time we push the bar. I said I wanted to work here. Okay, cool. You can work here. I said I wanted to bring my kids to work. Okay, cool. You bring your kids to work. And I'm talking about the companies that got, the whole little daycare centers or whatever downstairs. That's not what work is for. Now I gotta trip over kids when I come in here. Now I gotta share my workspace with some kids. Really? With children? My own kids ain't even here. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? As a man. You know what I'm saying? So okay, cool. Y'all can bring y'all kids to work. That's fine. Okay, cool. So now I need like 3 to 6 months paid so I can stay at home. You know what I'm saying? Just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Why? That's not what work is for. Now you want me to now you want me to pay you to pump your milk when I didn't ask you to have a baby? You want you oh man, listen, if I was companies, look, y'all gotta clock out. I ain't paying y'all for that. Y'all gotta clock out. But then that's discriminatory, right? You know what I'm saying? That's discriminatory. You can't do that. That's mean. You know what I'm saying? Knowing, not even knowing and understanding that that's not what work is for. So in 2016, women working or looking for work with children younger than 1 years old was 58.6%, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The Family Medical Act leave, I'm sorry, the Family Medical Leave Act gives women 12 weeks jobs protected unpaid leave, but many workers don't qualify for that. 12% of U.S. non-government workers have access to paid maternity leave, according to the Department of Labor. Recently, President Trump exposed a federal budget that, if passed, grant mothers and fathers 6 weeks of paid leave after the birth or adoption of a child. Whether that will be passed is not determined. But critics say it's not enough. See, that ain't enough. Mama and daddy get 6 weeks off. That ain't enough. We want you to pay us until we say we want to come back to work. That's not enough. Crazy. And to my knowledge, I don't think that was passed. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that was passed. They do what's best for them. Danielle worked as a freelance writer and social media manager when her son was born. She had no leave, started working the moment she returned home from the hospital. Danielle, who now works as Romper's identity editor, says she wanted to breastfeed for 2 years, 1 year's minimum. Quote, got into the idea that I have been a really bad mom if I supplemented or stopped. Trying to breastfeed and trying to continue work and live up to expectations definitely contributed to my postpartum depression. Postpartum depression. So you having to go back to work after you had your kid, had you postpartum. Why? When you could have been taking that time to put yourself in a position to stay at home, because that's what you need to do. So why complain about something you asked for? You asked for this. Deliberately, you asked for this. Now you want to complain about it. Because instead of putting in the work today, putting in the work to make sure you set yourself up. And when I mean set yourself up, I mean finding a competent man that you listen to, that allots you the time you need to stay at home with your children. Period. That's what I mean. Yes, allot yourself the opportunity to stay at home. Stack your checks up. You know you're pregnant. You know you can get pregnant. Stack your money up. to sustain you while you stay at home instead of putting yourself through this, putting yourself through this for no reason. So you would rather have postpartum depression from having to return to work right after you had a baby. You choose that over staying at home. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Whew. Danielle breastfed exclusively for 7 months. I commend her for that. I'm glad she lasted that long compared to what we have today. I'm glad she lasted that long. It's not enough. I won't say that it is. I won't sit here and tell you that it is. It's not enough. But I commend her for doing that. She cried when her partner gave her son formula, but felt healthier after making the decision to stop. So she didn't sacrifice her job to make sure she could stay home and breastfeed her baby, take care of her baby. She didn't sacrifice her job. She didn't quit her job. She quit on her baby. And yes, I said it. Yes, she quit on her baby. I'm just calling it how I see it. I'm calling it how I see it because we need to be accountable for the actions we make instead of complaining about them. We have to be accountable. So, yes, she quit on her baby. She did. I'm calling it how I see it. Because if it was the other way around, you know what I'm saying? We call men quitters all the time, right? We call them quitters all the time. But when we quit, ain't nobody supposed to make fun of us for that. No. Mm-mm. No. Looking back, I wish I would have quit sooner. Crazy. She quit on her kid. She quit on her child, her offspring. Crazy. Yeah. Okay. Danielle is one of several unique situations mom faced with breastfeeding for a year isn't best in some cases. Needed research sources and help aren't available or affordable. In others, like those who have HIV, breastfeeding isn't recommended for a baby's health. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. Quote: people do what they think is best for them and their families. Nope. Mm-mm. Not buying it. Quote, there are reasons for why people stop breastfeeding. We need to point our lens not at them, but at the reasons why. We need to point to we need to point our lenses not at them, but at the reasons why. But don't they make the reasons why? Don't they do that? So it's pretty much the same thing. You ain't saying nothing different. That's pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And yeah, like that's just crazy to me. And so yes, now you see why um, American moms don't breastfeed. It's not even because they don't try. I'm not even saying that. It's because they want to play victim. And that's the problem. Complaining about everything. Complaining about everything. Like why? You when you ask for this. So they it's not that they don't breastfeed because, they don't want to. It's because they don't put themselves in a position to do so. It's always got to be something or somebody else's fault. No, it's our fault. It's our fault for adopting an ideology that set us up to fail. That is what it is. And again, that is us. And we need to accept accountability for that. We need to do that. Accept accountability. You did this. We did this. You got to pick and choose between being a traditional mom and being a career woman. You can't do both. Despite what society tells you, you can't do both. You will be sacrificing one or the other because you can't do both. So why we the most depressed and we the most on antidepressants? You know what I'm saying? We the ones who get burnt out quickly in the workforce and got to do all this other stuff because we're not supposed to be there. Middle-aged women tired of working. Yes, because we're not supposed to be there. Once you find your husband, your focus is on your family. His wife, the CEO of that company, she doing her job. You think she at work right now? She's taking care of her kids, her children. And if she is working, she's working at home so she can be around her children, to teach her children, do things centered around her children. That's what she's doing. So that she don't have to take the pills and she don't have to go to therapy and she's not blaming everybody for decisions she chooses to make because she's not in charge of making decisions. Like she's focused on her children. And that's what we need. That's what we need. We don't need to be out here trying to force corporations to meet our demands as mothers because that's not what work is for. And that allotted time and energy could be directed to our children. So I ain't gonna hold y'all no longer. I just wanted to, bring you that, give my perspective on it, let you know because the information is what we need to know. So I thank you all for joining me and I will see you on the next video.